Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the American Pop Culture Series channel. I hope that you all had a wonderful summer as the ladies did, and they are back. The View is back, you guys, season 29. So, this is the opening photo. I think that everyone looks beautiful. I'm so glad to see all six of the ladies there for the opening episode. And it's so funny because it opened with, Whoopi Goldberg sitting on the rooftop, and the producer, executive producer, Brian Teta, he goes up and, she's acting like she's dreaming with a magazine on her lap. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I'll link it in the description box for you guys because they also have their own YouTube channel if you want to watch the entire thing, which, again, I love that they're putting The View and their full episodes on the YouTube channel. But it's just so funny because she's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was dreaming. And he's like, no, you're not dreaming. You're back. And, we're about to start in 30 seconds. She's like, oh my gosh, my drink. He's like, don't worry, I'll cover it. Let's get ready. Let's go down to the studio. Let's go. And it's just so funny because, as many of you know, there has been so many rumors speculating that, Whoopi Goldberg wouldn't come back and that, the show was going to be canceled. And, especially since the president had sued ABC last year for defamation. I believe that's what he sued for. He won $16 million. So a lot of people were thinking that it's a possibility that ABC might cancel The View altogether. However, I'm really glad that they kept it, and I hope that they keep it for many seasons to come. It's, one of their best, longest running, award winning shows. The View has won countless Emmys. So, with that being said, I hope that all of you guys are happy that the women are back. I know I am. Let's go ahead and get into the first story. So, they are talking about our Department of Health Secretary, RFK Jr., right? And even though he's a Kennedy, it's amazing that, of course, Kennedy's is one of the most powerful families in American history. But a lot of his family members have spoken out against him because of just his views on, vaccines. He's very public about being anti-vaccine, yet he has vaccinated his own children, right? So in my eyes, that's very hypocritical. He talks about he's eaten roadkill, he's done, hard illegal substances. He has a worm in his head that's, eating his brain. And Donald Trump's like, yeah, pick this man for Department of Health Secretary. It's crazy. But anyway, he goes before the Senate hearing, and even both sides of the senators are basically, telling him that it's a very dangerous position for RFK to allow people to not vaccinate their children or give them truthful information in regards to vaccines. Florida, unfortunately, is one of the states where they're no longer mandating vaccines. And listen, I feel like, polio has been largely eradicated. And the ladies are talking about measles and how dangerous it is. Sarah said that, she was pregnant, that she hadn't had her vaccine booster. She was in that age range where she didn't get the second booster shot. So she had to wait until after her pregnancy and literally isolate herself because she didn't want to be a danger to her, her baby or others. And, the senators were asking RFK Jr. questions about just basic questions about how many people we lost during COVID and, how many people were affected by the vaccines. And he didn't know. And not only did he not know, he didn't feel like it was his responsibility to know. He didn't feel like, despite, and I'm sure that he has a well-staffed team, right? Administrative team. He didn't have any of his assistants do any of the research. He didn't have any of his, congressional aides, because I'm sure all the Congress people, I believe they have, aides and interns, and he could have had anybody, do the research that he didn't want to do, but he didn't feel that it was important that the health and the public safety, public health of the American people were not a priority for RFK Jr. And that's unfortunate. And a lot of the senators let him know that. And that's what the women were saying as well, right? The panel. They were saying, look, unfortunately, a lot of kids, like when they go to school, it's like a petri dish of germs. And what we don't want is we don't want another outbreak like COVID. I don't know if you guys have heard that there is supposed to be another strain that's called like the razor throat strain, where it makes your throat feel like it's, almost cutting you with like razors and something like that. That's horrible, right? So the thing that we want to do is what RFK Jr., the gift that he's given his own children, which is the gift of vaccination. So, moving on, the next story is the kid whose father gave him a baseball at a baseball game. And unfortunately, we had an older woman. A lot of people are dubbing her, like the Stadium Karen. She goes over and she demands that the father take the ball from his son, from the boy, and give it to her because it was in her section. Like, she didn't even get the ball first. And at first, the panel, they played a clip of the U.S. Open, where the billionaire from Poland, he snatched the hat from one of the tennis players. It was a signed hat, and he was giving it to a kid in the crowd. He snatched the hat from the kid and put it in his wife's bag. And so the billionaire from Poland, he apologized after the social media backlash. And I have a feeling that a similar apology is going to come from this, woman at the stadium. But I agree with Whoopi Goldberg. Like, at what point do adults, realize that taking things from children, it's just despicable, Like, they brought up the analogy of taking candy from a baby, even though it's easy, ethically, you're not supposed to take candy from a baby. Or if you're at a sporting event, like Anna said, at the very least, you want to, CYA and cover your own behind, because there's cameras everywhere. Just like they brought up the Coldplay concert incident. If you don't want to be caught doing reprehensible behavior on camera in the World Wide Web, we're in an age where, and I mean, not to be, like Big Brother is watching, but everyone has a cell phone. There's cameras everywhere. You're on a jumbotron. You're at a stadium. At a public event. And just taking things from children it's reprehensible. It's so despicable. So the good news is, though, once these professional athletes, like the tennis player at the U.S. Open, he gave him like a signed hat and, met with him backstage. Similarly, the baseball player and the team, they gave them like a signed bat, and they had a chance to meet the players up front just to try to make things right. So I feel like that was a positive. That was a silver lining. But these older adults that are snatching things from children, it's just like, it makes me so sad, because kids are just largely unprotected. But anyway, moving on. So then finally the ladies talk about, what they did with their summer vacation. So Alyssa said that she spent time in the woods and with her in-laws. She said it was just really relaxing. Her friends came, brought their kids, with her husband. And I know she's on her own IVF, trying to conceive her journey with pregnancy. So hopefully we'll hear some good news this season. A lot of people are speculating whether or not she's pregnant. That's, of course, her business. But I do know her and her husband are trying to conceive. So I wish them well on that journey. Sunny said that she's an empty nester. So her and her husband sold their house, both of her kids. As you guys know, her son graduated from Harvard recently, and I think her daughter's in college. Paloma's in college as well. So her and Manny sold their house. And then she said that she also donated her chickens to like a farm, which was nice. And she said that, she had a sale, an estate sale. She donated her piano to a school in Harlem. And the teacher started crying, which I thought was really sweet. He said he wanted to sleep with the piano. I thought that was funny, but it was just really sweet. And, it's always nice. Like, I'm downsizing myself, so I'll move next month. And it's nice to be able to give things away that you no longer need. And, you can see that it's a blessing to other people. Anna went to Greece. And so she was there. She said that she loves the Mediterranean Sea because, unlike the ocean in Miami, she's like, there's nothing that's going to like bite you or, anything like that. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but if she says so, like, okay. And I'm glad that she had a good time in Greece in August with her dog Cha Cha. She's so cute. Um, Joy, she is, debuting her play, My First Ex-Husband. She showed us a picture of her getting glammed up backstage with rollers. Sarah was at the Iowa State Farm, so she went back there. She was with her family, and they were like eating butter and milking cows and just having a great time at the fair. Whoopi, she said that she did nothing all summer. She's like, I did nothing all summer. And Joy's like, no, we saw you in London and, you were in Greece with Anna. And it was just really funny. But I'm glad to see that all the ladies are back. They look well rested. So I'm really looking forward to a very fun and productive season 29. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments and I will talk with you later. Take care, everybody. Bye.